Okay, listen, I've got to ask you a question. Do you like baitcaster reviews? More importantly, do you like Shimano baitcasters? Well, how about the new Shimano baitcaster at $99, the new Shimano SLX A? Well, if you like that and you're interested, you're in the right spot because that's what we're doing. What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Yes, we've got the brand new Shimano SLX A, the new Shimano redesigned SLX baitcaster, arguably one of the best baitcasters at $99. So, of course, with all my reviews, and this is just kind of a first impressions review, going to go through it, look at the specifications, and compare it to the old SLX and some similar baitcasters at $99. So to do that, we're going to need to get a closer look. Enough yapping, let's go look at this. All right, let's start off by taking a look at some of the features on this, kind of like I always do when I go through my reviews, initial reviews, unboxing type thing. I want to see what this is all about for people looking to pick it up. Now, the thing that I like is this did stay at $99, so the Shimano SLX is still a $99 reel. A lot of the reels on the market have gone up in price. The SLX is still there at 99 bucks. Now, the first thing that, if you go to like Tackle Warehouse, and I'll leave this link below in case you want to look at one, go to Tackle Warehouse. The first thing that shows there when you look at the specs is it is still the Hagane body. So the actual frame piece of the reel is Hagane. That's their, I don't know, some sort of proprietary material that they do. It's a metal body, you know, similar to your aluminum frames, meaning it's not going to have as much side-to-side torque, you know, kind of that misalignment, that strange feel when you get a good fish on or something heavy. You can kind of feel that bending and flexing in the side plate. With this, you don't get that as much. So I like that in the $99 reels when they do have the aluminum frame. Next up is the SVS braking system. Now, this is really what the old VBS braking system was, the same as on the old SLX. Yes, we are going to compare the two. So with this, you do the little, I guess, latch thing you'd call it there to the open, pops open. And I do like this, that it is on that like beetle wing or, you know, side plate deal that is attached. Anytime I have to get into a baitcaster, that makes total sense. I wish every company that, you know, had it where you had to get in here was attached, because I have dropped these and I know have people who have lost them opening this up. So you'll see inside this is still the VBS braking system. I noticed they renamed it to the SVS braking. I think it's just a marketing terminology thing that they're switching to, because they've got like the SVS Infinity, I think is like the one on the SLX XT. Where is that one? Here we go, the XT. So what I was talking about is the brakes on this one. It does, in addition to the internal brakes, it does have the external adjustment there. So I can pop it open and show you. It's only got 4 on the inside, but that extra level of adjustment there. Anyway, as you can see, this one only has the internal brakes, and I feel like the description is a little bit deceiving. It says the SVS braking controls spool speed with an external adjustment that offers quick and precise adjustments when changing lures or adapting to changing conditions. Now, are they talking about this over here, your spool tension? But I mean, every reel has that, so I don't know. I feel like that was kind of baloney. I feel like it's making you think it's got the extra adjustment deal. The SLX MGL has it there. Then, of course, the DC has the extra adjustments up there. Of course, a whole different braking system on that. So like the others, the spool tension does not click, no audible click, which I don't care about. I don't need that. I know some people really like that, but for me, I just go by how loose the spool is. Oh, and that's another thing we can get into. Oh, real quick, your drag star does click. One new thing for this one, they say it does have the silent tune technology, which is supposed to be a couple springs on either side of the spool. The description does also state that this has brass gears. Maybe we'll pop that open and look. There's no spring inside the spool there, but what I did notice, also none there, what I did notice is this piece right here. I don't know how well you can tell. That's like a rubber O-ring, like a little gasket type deal. So I'm wondering if that's what kind of sits next to the bearing. They say the silent tune technology is supposed to have like springs pressing on either side of these bearings to keep them quieter. There's not even a spool bearing down in here. But again, it does have that black O-ring that you can see there. I believe this calls for real surgery. But before I get into that, just to show you I'm not crazy, this is the old SLX, and I looked at this one. There's no rubber O-ring or anything there, or spring or anything. No rubber O-ring or spring or anything on this one. Of course, it's not supposed to have it. This is the old one, but now, I always keep my screws in order of the way that I took them out, but one thing you can always remember is screws with a little tiny thread on them like this, you know, those are going into the metal frame. Screws like this that have a much larger thread on it, bigger teeth, that's going into the plastic. It needs a bigger groove. I don't know what the technical term is. Larger teeth on there, bigger threads to actually grab into that. graphite. And these bottom ones are the ones I'm referring to that are actually going into the graphite side plate. Okay, the big reveal. Oh my gosh, it is totally different. No, I'm kidding. It looks pretty much the same. Interesting. So I'm not seeing the springs that they're referring to. That might be interesting. I might have to see if anybody knows a Shimano person, because I don't see any sort of springs. I really think it's those little black rubber gaskets that they're referring to that's supposed to help silent those bearings from, you know, kind of rubbing on the shaft and vibrating and quieting that down. And I forgot to show you that, but there's one there on the end too. That's the one that will be going into this spool tension bearing. So this is your spool tension out here. Inside there, yeah, there's no springiness to it, but I bet that's what it is. That piece of rubber is on the inside of the bearing, kind of catching that bearing where it would spin there like that. That's what's helping silent and quiet that down. Interesting. Well, just for giggles, let's crack open this one. I won't make you sit through this. This is the old SLX that I've had for a couple years. I've actually got two of these. This is the newer of the two. The other one's in pretty crappy condition, but let's crack this one open. Now, here's a good thing I should show you on both the SLXs. I don't know if they're all like this. I haven't taken any of the other reels apart, just the SLX, but when I cleaned this one, this was one thing I about had a heart attack over, was this little piece right here the first time I did it. It's a little bit different than other systems. That tiny little piece fits down in that hole. There's a little spring in there. That spring pushes that metal piece out and into these little grooves on your reel handle. And that, for all the people that need a clicking star drag, that's all it is that little metal piece clicking on each one of those little indentations. So don't lose that piece. I got it all put back together once and found that, so that's what it is. All right, there we go. On the inside of both of these, can you tell the difference? Can you tell which one's the old one and which one's the new one? At a glance, they look pretty darn similar. This is the old one. You can see the old one did have brass gearing to brass main shaft there. Overall, a solid little darn reel. You know, a lot of people, like I've said, it's one of the best $99 reels out there. It really is. Brass components, got aluminum frame, or you know, the Hagane frame. Overall, pretty sharp. Now on the new version, just to show you, that's the silver there. So it is the new version. Just some slight differences, kind of, you know, in some color of parts. But I don't know that there's really a whole heck of a lot of difference between the two. I will be interested to get this out, do some, you know what this reminds me of? The old Tackle Advisor reel breakdowns. I miss his reviews. He was bluntly honest with anything he was taking apart, wasn't afraid to take stuff apart, do comparisons, show it, you know, debunk things. I miss his stuff. He had awesome reviews, but you're just getting the junky Debo version of that now. I did want to take this off just to see if there was anything different looking. This is all fresh. I have not touched any of the grease or anything on here. It does have a bearing. Oh, that wasn't a very good view. Pulled the pinion and yoke out, and you can see it does have a bearing inside there, it looks like. Let me just double check. Yes, indeed it is. So you can see there, that is a pinion supported, the bearing that supports the pinion in there, which does help a ton. It doesn't, you can't feel that wobbly. I like that they have that in there. And again, this is a $99 reel. So definitely a few of the good upgrades, you know, being a little bit smoother, better pieces, you know, better components, as opposed to some of the, you know, $30, $40, $50 reels out there. You can tell the difference with something like this. Also, I do need to point out, Shimano did not send this dry. There is definitely grease all over this. Some people say that, you know, could be too much, but I would rather have a little bit more than needed. A couple of my last Daiwas that I got, and I love Daiwa, were absolutely bone dry, so this is not that way. Who is having like heart palpitations thinking I'm not going to be able to get this thing back together? Not going to lie, the hardest part of this was trying to remember lefty tighty, righty loosey. So how about real world application for this? Well, it is still pretty similar to the old version. The actual frame of this is, on the old one, I think they said comparable to a 70 size reel, but it's still got the same line capacity. I think it's like 12 pound, 110 yards for the line capacity, which was the same as the old one. Still the same fit and feel in hand. Great if you have, you know, smaller or average hands. I know that's one big thing that people don't like about, do I have a dial? I don't have a dial right in front of me, but the front of it, it tends to kind of come up and then get a little bit bigger at the front. A lot of people don't like that. They like the smaller, more compact size of this. And all the SLX models are kind of built on this same platform profile. This is the SLX MGL. Great little reel for light lures. Look at that one. Same thing for the XT. So it's nice because whichever one of these you get for different things, it's all going to be a very similar comparable feel for any of the SLX line. Now it has the braking system. The DC is a little bit bigger. You can see a little bit wider, but who needs a fancy DC? Now let's take a look and see how the SLX compares to some of the other $100 reels on the market. So this is the new Abu Garcia Revo X. There's some things that I really like about this reel. And right off, one thing I think I've already told you, it doesn't have an aluminum frame. So that's kind of one knock on this. I did already take it out and use it, and there's going to be a separate video coming on this soon. But the first big thing that I really like is feel in hand. And you can kind of see the difference here, how they've taken kind of contoured this front. I like that if you're somebody that holds the reel like this with your line in front, you know, when you're feeling the line in front, finger in front, feeling the line like this. I really like that when you're reeling, you know, if you're working a Texas rig or a jig or something, you can feel it there. I really like how this fits in hand, very comfortable. Now, not that the SLX isn't, I do just kind of like how that kind of curves there instead of being a hard, sharp angle. See how my finger's pretty much the whole way there, and here I feel like it kind of hits. Definitely not uncomfortable on the SLX. I'm not saying that at all. I just kind of like the fit in hand of this more, but you're going to see more of this in a video soon. How about one of my all-time favorites, arguably the #1 best $99 reel on the market? And again, each one kind of comes with its pros and cons. I personally think for a beginner, the externally adjustable magnetic brakes are easier for a beginner to use. Now, with this, like I said on the Tackle Warehouse thing, I don't know why this said external brake adjustment. It doesn't have that anywhere unless they're talking about that cast control. But for this, for a beginner, you've got to understand the difference between the centrifugal brakes and your spool tension, and then get kind of the right settings. And if it's windy, you know, you have to open this up, turn them on and off. You know, as a beginner, I think it's just kind of a pain. But that is just my opinion. Now, I do think out of all the $99 reels, the SLX is the smoothest. You know, it's the kind of the thing that Shimano is known for is, you know, that fit and feel with it. And I think out of all these, this is the smoothest. But as far as operation, I think the LFS kind of wins. Now, I was going to say the Fuego in there, but there's a couple things with the Fuego and a lot of the tattoo reels that I know a lot of people don't like. That's why I usually ask if you have larger hands or not. Now, the brake system has never been an issue here for me. Some people talk about that. My finger kind of fits right between it, so it's never been an issue. But I know some people don't like on the front of this. You compare these. The front of the Fuego compared to the SLX, look at how much bigger that is of a reel compared to the SLX. The Fuego is definitely a little bit larger frame, and for people that have larger handles, you like that feel. You'll like that. If you don't, if you want a smaller reel, like I said, I think this is comparable to like a 70 or 100 size reel frame in there, but still with the capacity of like 150 size. You might want to go with this. So comparable to all these, each one kind of has pros and cons. I really like the Daiwa grippy paddles. The Shimano paddles are really nice. And the Lew's probably my least favorite out of all of them, but the Revo X, I do really like the shape on these. Kind of hard to show you what these look like here, but it's hard to tell side by side, but the LFS is a wider reel, so I think the SLX does win out by having just a little bit smaller frame if you really like that smaller compact frame and feel in hand. But hey, listen, comment below and let me know what you think of the SLX compared to the other SLX liner reels, the others in the, you know, the lineup, and some of these other $100 reels. Would you like to see a head-to-head casting comparison, or, you know, a more in-depth review look over of one of these reels? I know I've been promising a review on this one, and trust me, it is coming soon. Now listen, if you like the review videos like this, also comment below and let me know what you want to see more of. I'm going to start mixing in on the water stuff with some of these that I've got to use. Of course, I've only had this for like a week, so I haven't had this out on the water because there's still snow. All right, fishing friends, that's going to do it for me down in the basement. I am tired as all heck. It is late. I need to get all this edited, so thank you all so much. Oh, subscribe, fishing friend. It's got to be Paul over from Aggressively Average Anglers. He also posted a picture on his Instagram. He picked up one of the new SLX DCs, and he said, great minds think alike. I agree, Paul. So thank you, guys. Thank you to the Aggressively Average Anglers, formerly known as Burley Fishing. Great guys, go follow the channel if you don't. And thank you everybody else, members, regular subscribers. I want to start ramping up the videos again because I truly appreciate the heck out of all you. Again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. So it's late, I need to edit. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.